G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. I am going to do another alcohol ink resin piece for you. And I thought I'd do this big geode shaped tray. This is my large. I've also got an extra large, which is huge. It probably wouldn't even fit in the frame. It's huge. But this one I'm going to do today. Now, do you remember when I did these? Now, these were my first attempt at alcohol inks with a resin coating, and I actually did the polyurethane or quickset white resin. I will link the video up at the top corner for you towards the end of this video if you want to watch it. So yeah, use these. I used the Let's Resin concentrated alcohol inks for those. And today I am just going to try these ones, see what they are like. So these are also Let's Resin. It says translucent, and I'm going to do blue and green, and I think I'm going to do some pinata gold with it. I don't have a metallic ink from Let's Resin, so I'm just going to use this. And because I also want a white base, I didn't want to use the polyurethane resin because I've only got little bottles and I would need a lot to fill this. So I've used the Let's Resin Fast Cure in A and B, and I did 220 grams of A and 200 grams of B. That's it there. Stirred it for 4 minutes. Before I started stirring, I added 2 big blobs of the Let's Resin Ocean White because I want white, so I've used that. Alright, so now I just have to pour it in. I'm hoping that 400 grams or 420 grams is going to be enough. It doesn't have to be filled all the way. This is quite a deep mold, it's 1 centimeter deep. So it's at just under ½ an inch deep it is, but I'm not filling it all the way. You could if you wanted to. The only thing is, if it's a tray, don't fill it too thin, otherwise it's going to warp and bend and all that kind of thing. So that's probably, I've probably got 2/3 up, 2/3 of the way up there. Give it a light little torch. I'm staying away from my sides. I don't want to melt the mold. I'm using a tiny little torch. Look, you can't even see the flame. Just to pop those surface bubbles. The other thing you can do is just grab your isopropyl spray and give it a little spray like that. All right, so that's pretty much it for the first coat. I am wondering if I should mix up a little bit more though. It's not going to be a very thick tray. I think I will. I think I'll just add another 100 grams or so, another 3 or 4 ounces, just to bring it up a little bit more. You'd hate to go to all this trouble and then your tray's too bendy and it warps and all that because it's too thin. I am going to be doing a top coat of resin as well, which will add a couple of millimeters, and if it works nicely I'll pop a couple of little handles in as well on the top coat. But stay with me. And I'll show you all the different stages that we're going to do, but I think I will just mix up a little bit more. And then once this is cured, I'll come back to you and we'll do our alcohol inks. Yes, I'll attempt to anyway. All right, see you soon. All right, this has cured up. Put a little bit more in, a little bit more resin in. It's still a little bit bendy, but let's get it out. Now there's nothing to reveal, it's just a white piece. So we can either do it that side. I will link my geode tray mold for you. Look at that, it's a big thick mold. Down in the description as usual, if you want to grab yourself one of those. Now on this side, because it's touched the side of the mold, as the resin cures it kind of shrinks away. So it's got this, I don't know if you can see it, it's got this little lip here. And if I pour alcohol inks onto that, it's going to hit the side and then, you know, it's going to kind of pool there, I think. So we might do the opposite side. I've got a couple of little bubbles on this side. I didn't actually check that. But it won't matter because I'm going to do a top coat anyway, but I may try and just file those down a little bit, just like that, because we don't want to see a hole. So we'll just file those away. Just using a nail file here. You don't need to take terribly much off, just so that it's not a hole. And like I said, I'm going to do a top coat anyway, so I don't think you're going to see those. But yeah, if it was clear resin, I probably would have noticed that there was a bubble, but because it was white and it was right down the bottom, I didn't actually notice it. But that's fine. It's not a problem. Just get rid of it. That way when we put the top coat on, the top coat will just glide over that and you won't even know that there was a bubble there. Okay, I think that's it. So normally I don't worry about it because I don't use that side, but because it's got the lip, I'm going to use this side. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to put a piece of plastic down on my workbench and some paper towel to catch all the runoff from the isopropyl. So I've got a plastic bag, and actually I might just grab, instead of getting these, see I've got all these already torn up, ready to go, but I think I'll just put down some of this instead, like so, just to catch that runoff. I'm going to put 2 layers down. I can see I'm going to make a mess. I know I'm going to make a mess, so we'll just put that down. And I remember when I was doing the coasters that I did change the paper up a few times. So that's that there. We'll put that back on. Make sure it's dust free. All right, there we go. Now I've got my isopropyl alcohol just in here. I've got my little heat gun, just a little embossing tool, I think it's called. And I've got my green alcohol ink. I've got blue, and then I also went and found dark blue. I was going to do purple, and then I thought, I'll just stick to the blues and the greens with this gold. I think that will look really nice. And I need to put some gloves on because alcohol ink, yes, it stains. It stains your hands. Now, I have got a lot of canvases left over. I'll show you. I've got canvases left over from when I was doing my acrylic pouring. Look at all those. All those. And then, oops, down here, more canvases, and then more on the other side as well. So I think I am going to do some alcohol inks on canvases too. Why not? What do you think? This similar sort of thing, but instead of having to pour a resin base, I'm just going to use some of my canvases, and we'll do some artwork that can hang on the wall. So kind of a little bit going back to the acrylic pouring days, hey? But still pouring, but with alcohol inks. And for those people that don't do resin, and it's not for everyone, you know, some people are allergic to it, some people just don't have all the equipment, the room, it's very expensive. So yeah, we'll do some of that, okay? See how we go. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. I should really put a squirt. What if I can make a hole in the top of that? Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I do have like a needle nose needle on the top of some of them, but that'll do for now. All right, let's start with blue. Now, I'm just going to do a few little drops here and there. Actually, no point putting the lids back on, is there? little bit of green, and a little bit of this navy, like so, and some gold. Make sure it's shaken up really well, because the pigment does like to sit sort of on the bottom, and the alcohol on top. I better move that, otherwise I might knock that over. All right, here we go. This is where we just get creative, and for me it's really hard letting go, because I like things in a particular order, and with this there's really not much you can do to control it. So here we go. We'll just start blowing. I want to get this gold moving a little bit. Try not to get too much of it to run off. Oh, I'm liking that sort of greeny colour there. So once I've kind of got the shape that I want, I'll go over it like this in little circles to sort of try and dry it out a bit. So it doesn't spread too much, but it just kind of sets it and sort of dries it out. I'm not real happy with these gold blobs, so we're going to have to sort of do something with that. I don't know why they're not kind of moving very much, but let's see if we can get those gold blobs to move. And of course you can do, you know, layers. If you're not happy with your base layer, you can just do some more layers and kind of spread out your colours. I may leave a little bit of white if I can. I may do. Oh, I'm liking this. It's more sort of ethereal looking, but yeah, you can certainly go over a section if you're not real happy with it. I'm just going to try little sections at a time here. Some of that blue, green, and some of the dark blue. I'll put a bit of gold over the top of that. It's probably easier if I just do one section at a time, actually. Where's my on-off there? And then you can sort of create your own little lines. And if you don't want too many lines, you know, you can either put a little bit more of the isopropyl on it, blow that out like that. If you wanted it, you know, a little bit more lighter in color. I think my last ones I did quite dark. I didn't sort of use the alcohol to push the colors around as much, and I'm thinking I would like to do that a little bit more this time. So over here it's a little bit dark. So I'm just going to not add any more color. I'm just going to kind of blow some of that around just to kind of dilute it a bit. It didn't really work all that well. You can also, I've got some isopropyl in here with a little brush. You can as well, you know, if you don't like a section or you think, oh, it's just a bit too dark, you can just pop some isopropyl on it and move it along. Move it along. Let's put some gold there. But yeah, it's really the creativity of it. You can just, you know, do whatever you want to, really. It's your piece. You can let your creative juices flow. See, I'm liking that better now. It's a little bit softer. I like the edges. I like to be able to see where the two sort of colours meet. This bit here in the middle here, that's a little bit too harsh for me, so I'm just going to cover that and just sort of blow it a little bit. If there's still a little bit that's sort of stuck there, it doesn't want to move, just grab your brush, give it a dab, just to soften those lines a little bit. I won't put that back into the isopropyl. I'll try and keep it clean. So I've kept the lines there, but it's just not quite as harsh. I'm really liking these more pale sort of looks. Now feel free to fast forward. I'm just going to sort of just try and enjoy the process. You know, it's part of my hobby. I'm just going to put a little bit more isopropyl there. And like I said, try not to make them too dark. And then when I'm happy with it, I just go around in circles and just sort of dry it off a little bit. But even if you've done that, you could still come back and say, oh, I don't really want that, and change it. So let's move on to another section anyway. Over here, we'll put a little bit of isopropyl down over here. I'll put some of this green down. A little bit of that navy. And a splash of gold. And give that a bit of a glow. Use my gloved finger just to spread that a bit. I like how the blue and the green kind of make that teal there, but I don't like that kind of drip mark there, so that can go. I'll keep the rest of it, so I'll just go around in circles because I like the rest of that. I'll keep that. Alright, that's looking really pretty. I'm still not liking this. It's just a little area just here. I'll just give that a bit of a zhuzh, like so. I learned a lot on the previous one that I did, the coasters, not to add too much ink and not to have it too dark. Still want my little sort of dividing lines because I like that. I just don't want the lines to be like too heavy. So I'm happy with those. I'm going to give those a little bit of a zhuzh. Loving that. This bit here where it's got these little bumps, I don't like that, so we'll get rid of that. Like so. And I'll just give it a zhuzh. It does want to spread though, like the alcohol does want to spread, but again, you can do what you want with it. Now over here it looks as if I've got some kind of drops going on. I don't know where that's come from, but let's just do that. And maybe some of this green. Give that a bit of a blow. I don't want it to move it too far. I just want to move it a little bit, so I'll go left and right. Just until that's dried. I don't want it to run like this. I just want it to kind of stay where it is. So look at me go. Look at me go. I'm learning. All right. So this sort of thing I don't want. So we'll do a little drop there. Give it a bit of a zhuzh. And we'll just put a little bit of blue there. And I'm going to go that way. So much for keeping some white. Not really happening, is it? Not really. Yeah, I'm learning as I go, for sure. For sure. Trying not to get those harsh lines. Now I'm happy with that, oh, except this little bit here. Happy with that, so I'm just going to dry that off now. What do you think? So there's a few areas that I can sort of change, and you know, you can come back to this and look at it and go, yeah, I want to change that, or I want to add something. It's something that you can come back and change. You don't have to just sort of leave it. And I think there's a bit too much gold just there. So we'll do that. Pop a little bit of green on that. Actually, I might do some over here and let it sort of spread a bit. Some of that dark blue. Give it a bit of a blow towards me. All right. So what do you think so far? Loving some of it not so much. So I'll just keep working on it. Like I said, feel free to fast forward if you want to. This little section here I feel has got a little bit sort of muddy. Just going to move that on. Move you on. Loosen that up a little bit. And add just a tiny bit of gold. I'm not going to add any more colour. I don't think it needs any more colour. I'll just sort of loosen that section a little bit. I don't want it to spread too fast. I'm going to kind of just keep it here in the middle. Move that gold around a little bit. And then just dry that off. I'm happy with the shape and everything. I'll just dry that off. Liking that. Now this bit here is a bit harsh. It's a bit heavy there. So we'll just dab that a little bit. And maybe not even need any colour. Just blow that a little bit. Just to sort of dilute everything really. Just so that we don't get those harsh lines. And I think that's what I missed out on doing last time when I was doing my coasters. Every time I added the isopropyl, I thought I had to add more ink, but I didn't. And I think that's where I kind of went wrong in the end. It was just a little bit too sort of too harsh. Oh, I'm really liking it. Alright, now we'll finish off this little end here. And I don't like that. But you guys should have a go. Definitely have a go. And we'll do the canvases together, hey? Because I think that will be a lot easier for a lot of people if we just do canvases. And I'd like to sort of broaden my horizons and do a little bit of different art here and there. Because it is my hobby, my relaxation time. So I do like doing a few different things. So once I've got the sort of design that I like, I'll just set it with that dryer. Gold's a little bit heavy just there. I'm liking how I've got this paper towel here. I can just wipe on there. No, don't really want to do any more there. Just come in a little bit. Okay. Alright, that is looking really good. Happy with that. It's very abstract. And of course, if you don't like, you know, these lines as much, you could do bigger sections and have bigger, sort of more blended lines. But it's not a huge piece, so I think for me, I would prefer to have, you know, a few smaller little lines. But again, totally up to you. I'm not going to add any more colour. I'm just going to blow this off the end here. See if we can just keep a little bit of that white showing through. What do you think? What do you think? Like that? So keeping that line there, and just, I'm going to dry that off now. If you want a little bit more white, you can just push that off the edge, a little bit lighter, and then dry it off. Okay, so we've got little light turquoise there, we've got some darker blue here. I'm going to have to do something with that white bit there. I don't mind having it pale like that, transparent over the top, but I don't really want just a plain dot of white there. Just do that. Put a little touch of green there. I'm just going to blow that off, back on. All right. How am I doing so far? Do you think I'm doing a better job this time than the last time round? Hopefully I am. I feel as if I want to turn it around, but I don't want to turn it around because I don't want any colour sort of seeping underneath. All right. Now, that's good. Hasn't got much gold there. That's good. We've got some gold going through the centre there. All right, let's move on to the next section here. Pour some isopropyl onto that. And what's this one? Blue. Okay. A little bit of blue, a little bit of green, drop of gold. And blow it out, blow it back. And I am pretty happy with the shape of everything there, so I might just sort of dry that now just to set it. Like so. And then it won't run anymore. But you can see how over here I've got like a bigger circle there and a bigger area there. And then here we've got like smaller areas between the lines. So totally up to you which way you want to go. Just the more you sort of move it and the resin dries like that, sort of in ridges, you get that different look. But I will put some more over the top of that. I think we can do layers as well. Oops, I've spilt my blue. Gosh, why don't you tell me I spilt my blue? Oh, I needed to cough. All right, a little bit more gold just here. A little bit more of that alcohol just on top. And again, we can do our little layers. A little bit more green just there. So it's starting to run there, so we don't want to do that. We'll just put a little bit more there and just stop that green from doing its little run thing. Should have enough colour here just to move that now. I shouldn't need any more colour. Okay, we'll just set that. Now, as you can see, I've got a few little run marks that I don't like, so we'll just soften those. It's a bit dark just there. A little bit of that isopropyl just there. And I won't add any more colour, we'll just blow that. You don't even have to move it really, we can just sort of set that. Rather than making that isopropyl move too much. All right, what are we thinking? I actually don't like this really dark section of blue here. Well, it's not that it's too dark, it's just really bright. It's a bright blue, so let's just get rid of that. Put a bit of gold there, drop of green, and I'll just blow that towards me. And back in, back out. I don't want it to make too many more little lines. What are those lines called? These little, are they little ridges? Are they lines? Like, what do we call those? Alright, I'm happy with the lines. Let's just dry those off. don't like that little bit of a run there on the end. We'll just get rid of that. Just give it a blow. Okay, that's good. I'm nearly there, you guys. I am nearly there. I don't like that bit there. Just need to soften that. It's just kind of a bit chunky, like clunky, I guess. Oops. And again, I'll try not to make too many lines. I'll just sort of keep it in that same area. Just basically straight down. Oh, okay. It ran a little bit. That's okay. As long as it doesn't make like a real little point, I'm okay with that. Now I must say it's hard to know when to stop. Just want to soften this. I don't want to add any more color. I just want to soften this area here. I guess what I'm doing is making bigger sections. Okay. How's that? How's that? Okay, I think this is this a bit here still a bit dark, or do we kind of need that? Okay, let's just sort of blend that a little bit. Blend this little bit here. Just pop some more isopropyl on it. And give it a blow. Just getting some of those harsh lines out of the center. Like so. There's a bit there that's, see the alcohol ink like looks a little bit thick there. We'll just get rid of that. It doesn't need any more color, it just needs to be just sort of diluted a little bit. Okay, I'm not loving that little section there. Okay, one bit of green and a bit of gold. I am going to go through with my gold and I'm going to add some veining. But you can see what I mean about if you don't like a section, just go over it. If you think it's a bit harsh, break it up, go over it. There's no right or wrong. Right, I'm happy with that, loving that. Let's set that, we'll dry that. I'm happy with that. Oops, I went too far there and I've gone little circles there. But yeah, it's really hard to know when to stop. Especially if you're like a, I don't know, maybe not so much a perfectionist, but I guess you know what you want. Before you start, you might know what you already want in your piece. And I know I don't want such big, thick areas like that. Right, it's getting closer. It is almost there. I just need to blend that bit of green a little bit more. It's a bit much, and this here is a bit much. So I'll just put a bit of isopropyl there and just blend that green a little bit more. I think with one of the coasters I did last time, that there was just one that I did not like, and it didn't matter what I did to it, I couldn't get it right, so I just got the paper towel and I wiped over it. Now this, I don't like this line here, so I'm going to break that line up. I don't like that. This whole section here can go. A bit more isopropyl. And what's this one? A little bit of blue. I'm going to keep it in that sort of line there that I've already got, hopefully. keep it in that little sort of section, but just dry that. It was just a bit harsh. Alright, that's looking good. That is looking good. Now up here is much more sort of not as busy as down here. So I might just, I know I've just done that, but I might just sort of break that up a little bit. Okay, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. I think it needs a lot more of the isopropyl. Put a good amount there. I'm going to break up what I've got there. Okay, bit of gold. No more colour. Alright, let's put a little bit more white into it, which kind of matches a few of the other areas of white. Again, totally up to you how much white you want showing. Got a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. That just needs a little bit more colour because I've got too much white there. So I won't add any more colour, we'll just give it a bit of a blow just to sort of blend that. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done. Look, there's probably a couple of tiny little areas that I will kind of fix a little bit, but for the most part, I think I am done. Let's move these so that you can see. I'll just dry it. Once your resin top layer goes on, it really makes those colours pop. What do you think? Oh, after you looked at something for so long, you think, oh my gosh, is it okay? Like, you know, should I change things? Oh, actually, look at this. There's a dot. There's a dot. I can't leave the dot. I can't leave the dot. It's going to have to go. Sorry, dots. Don't like that. It's like, you know, something's been spilt on it. Let's do that. Keep the colour in that section, or just get rid of those dots. There we go. See what I mean about fiddling? You know, taking away the dot made something else happen, and then I had a ridge on the edge there, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. There's still a dot. I don't know why there's still a dot. Okay. Fingers work really well too, just to sort of dab things. All right. I am happy with that. I am happy with that. Look, you know, I could keep going forever, but you have to sort of say stop at some stage. Now what I want to do, and it may actually be easier if I put a little bit of this into my needle nose nozzle. It's a bit of a tongue twister, if I can find one. I've got this one. I have used it previously, so it's a bit dirty. Just put some alcohol in it. Let's see if it'll be all right. And sometimes you clean these things out as best you can at the time, but I'm just going to put a little bit of this gold in there. And because, I don't know, trying to do lines on it might be a little bit tricky, so I'm just going to sort of squirt a bit in there. I don't want to waste too much of it, but let's just see. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and sort of put some gold veining in. Let's see if that's going to come out okay. Oh, yep, that's good. All right, so here we go. Oh my gosh. Let's go start here. So I'm sort of going to, oh gosh, that's quite thick. Why are you coming out so thick? Oh gosh. Maybe just a, I wonder what happens if you blow that. No, I better not. Might ruin it. It kind of needs to be thick enough because, see, as it's drying, I'm sort of losing the effect. Actually, maybe if I try not to squeeze. How about if I just try? Oh no, it's still coming out fast. Ah! Okay, there we go. Why is it coming out so fast? Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll just sort of try and fix little areas. So that's basically what I mean by just adding a little bit of gold to it. You don't have to. I kind of feel as if it needs to have another arm coming off here. Like that. And then I'm just going to do one more sort of coming around here, maybe, sort of around there. See how I'm just trying to follow sort of a natural, sort of like a little channel. How's that? I was going to go off in that direction, but I didn't. I didn't end up doing that. It's here. Maybe I can go off here. There we go. Okay. I can hang on to that. Keep that. So there's a... missed a bit. So what do you think? There's some thicker areas, some thinner areas. You can sort of, you know, do whatever you wanted to do. I just found that when I was doing my coasters, if I didn't put it on thick enough, it just kind of vanished as it dried. Make sure that you shake it really well as well. All right, what do you think? Let me get this. Oh, it's still a bit bendy. Let's move all this out of the way. I could actually use this again. I won't throw it away. We'll fold it up because I can use the other side. Even if I just use it to wipe down my bench, you know. There we go. All right, there we go. Oh, that was fun. How long did I take? Sorry if I took so long. Oh, 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Now it is looking much more blue through my screen. When I look at it with the naked eye, it's got a lot more aqua and turquoise in it. So I don't know if you can pick that up or not, or whether it's just me. There's the gold. I'm sorry about the lights. It's really pretty. So you get that veining. Maybe it's called veining, is it? I don't know. Where the ink dries and you get that ridge, vein. I don't know. Look at the gold there, how it sparkles. It's sort of spread there in the center there. I like using the same gold. I guess you could go through with your Deco color pen or something like that, but then you risk having the two golds clash. So there we go. All right, so what I need to do next is I need to use a gloss. Either one of these, or I used that one last time, I might use this one this time. Once the inks have dried, I need to take it outside and give it a couple of light coats of clear varnish. If you don't do that, you could potentially, when you put your resin on, it's going to make your ink wet again. and then it's going to just run into your resin and change your resin color. So we need to seal this properly first before we put the top coat on. So we'll do that. I'll give it a few hours to dry and then take it outside and give it a spray. But what do you think so far? Yeah, I'm loving it. And you may think, oh, why don't you do matching colours to your coasters, you know, that you did with the tray? And I thought about that, but I really wanted to try some different colours. I like this. I like that sort of darker, of the dark blue through there. Just little hints of it. Little hints of that dark colour. All right. I need a coffee now after that. All right. I'll see you soon. All right. I have taken my piece outside. And it's just an old pizza box that I use for my spraying. And I've got this one here, the Crystal Coat Gloss Varnish. And I did shake it for a few minutes. It's got a little ball in there. And let's do a couple of light sprays. Like so. Okay, so what does it say? I don't want to do it too thick. I'd rather do a couple of touch dry, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I will come back and do another one. That was just a very light little spray. I don't want sort of droplets on there. And so I'll do 2 coats of that and let that dry, and then we'll do the top coat in resin. Right, it has had 2 coats of clear spray, and I have just popped a little tray there, and it's on my little turntable because I want to do the sides. Now I could use my Deco colour pen, but it's probably going to use half of one of these, and these are expensive. In Australia, they're about $25 each. So I thought I would use this. See what this is like. I'm not even going to try and pronounce all of that, but that's what that one is. Rich gold, and it's a liquid. So let's see if I can. Oh, it's one of these child-proof ones. We have to push down. Right, that was a struggle. I had to go and ask my husband Dave to open it for me. It's probably got dried paint stuck around there, the sides there. Now it looks a bit bubbly because I've been shaking it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, look at that. There's all that's down the bottom. I'm gonna have to give it a stir first. When I turned the bottle upside down, it looked like a really nice gold that was going to match, but I don't think that's going to match very nicely after all. Oh, what do you think? It's hard to know. My other one that I've got's the model paint. It's more of a brass, so I might put a little bit on and just see what it looks like. Clean this off now. I have got one other, but I think it's, yeah, I don't know. Gold's tricky, isn't it? You can have a brassy gold, you can have a greeny gold. I'll go and get it. I was going to use this one, but it's totally dried up, so that's no good. See how it's kind of like a greeny gold. It probably would have matched okay, but I don't know if I've got any more of those. I can't see them anywhere. All right, so it's either this one, which no, I don't like that. I think I'm going to have to just stick to my I just have to use my Deco colour pen. Oh, let's try this one. It's my new ones. I forgetting I've got these from Let's Resin. I've got 3 silver and 3 gold. That's what I used last time. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. It's got a big end on it, so that will do. I'll just give it a shake. Now you can see I've got some handles around here. I was thinking about which handle I could use. I like this, but it might be a bit big. Might be a bit big for this piece. Then I've got these are the only ones I had in my storage. I've got black, but they're quite stark. Everything else is sort of curvy and wavy, and these are quite angular and black. So there's those, and then there's these, which I really like because they look more organic and they're only little, but they have got a silver base. So I don't have any that have got gold, so I might just put them on there anyway. You could, if you wanted to. I wonder if I can actually. Oh, I wonder if I could colour them. So anyway, I think I'll use these, and when I do my top coat, I'll just set them in so that they're in there. Anyway, enough of that talk. Let's get this edging done. I probably don't need all that now. I mean, I'll use it when I will use that when it's time to do my top coat, but I probably don't need it for this. Let's see how this is going to go. Oh, that's covering really well. Look at that. Look at that. That's covered that ink really well. I was worried that it wasn't going to cover it, but it did. Look at that. And you can see how nice and thick this tray is, so it's not going to warp. Although, in saying that, if I had to leave it just sitting on this, like that, the sides will probably droop because I only just poured it yesterday. So, all right, I am going to finish this. I'm going to put you on a time lapse because I'm going to put my music on and just listen to it while I do this. Actually, you probably don't need to, you don't need to watch me do this, do you? It's self-explanatory. Oh, this pen is great. I'm amazed. Look at that. It's a nice thick one too. Now, when you hold this, don't let your hand touch that wet paint, eh? I will link Let's Resin for you down in the description. If it starts to sort of dry out a little bit, just push like that and that'll get the colour to come back down. I will link Let's Resin, their website, their UK Amazon store, their US Amazon store down in the description, and hopefully you can find these pens. That's what it looks like. Let's Resin Chrome Marker, High Gloss Liquid Chromium. And there's 6 in there, 3 silver, 3 gold, in different thicknesses. So yeah, that's great. I think these are going to be my new favourites. I've always used the Deco colour, but this goes on really well. All right, I am going to finish this and mix up some resin, and then when I come back to you, this will be dry, and we'll do the top coat. Looks good. And of course, if you wanted to, you could do, I might actually do it, just a really little thin, just a really thin little edge like that, all the way around. I do like to do that just to finish off my pieces. And I'm just putting the edge of that resin into my little felt tip there. And we'll just go all the way around. It's getting stuck where I had a little hole. That's fine. All right, all the way around. Doesn't take long at all. And done. All right, I'm going to finish this off, and I'll see you soon. Right, I've done the edges. Look amazing. I'm just going to pop it on the plastic. I'm only doing the top, so I don't need to do the sides of this one. With the coasters I did the sides, but today I'm just going to do the top. And as you saw in that little quick video, I did these with my gold marker and they turned out amazing, and now they match, the colors match, so yay, very happy with that. Just need to let them dry totally. I think they touch dry, but they might take a little while to actually dry. And I've got some resin here. I have made up way too much. Oh gosh, when you do a 1-to-1 resin and you put that much in, you think, oh, that's not enough, and then by the time you put the next lot in, it's like, then yeah, way too much. So I am using the Let's Resin Fast Cure. If you don't have the Fast Cure, you can just use the normal Let's Resin. It's also a 1-to-1, so it's a really thick, a nice thick resin. So that's it there. Mixed up that. I did 55 grams of A and 50 grams of B. All right, here we go. And hopefully by pouring this on, it will just make those colors pop. Look at that. Now I am going to use my little, I should probably use my bigger one, shouldn't I? I'll use the bigger one, offset spatulas, just to spread that. If you don't have one, that's fine. You can just use your pop stick that you use to mix the resin. So when I'm doing this, I'm sort of just pushing it over the edge like that, and because it is a thick resin, it doesn't want to run down the side. It just wants to sort of cling to the top like that. I think what I'll do is I'll push it around and then I'll use my smaller one just to push it over. I just find I've got more control with the smaller one. And it's actually surprising how much resin the top coat actually takes. If you don't have enough resin on, or you're using a resin that's too thin, you'll find that the resin's pulling away from the sides, leaving holes, and you wonder why. It's because you're not using a thick resin, or you just haven't got enough on there. So add a little bit more. See how this, I don't know if you can see there, but it's pulling away because there's not enough resin there. And then I'm just going to push that to the edge. I want it to actually touch the edge because then it'll sort of anchor the resin to the sides. Actually, look, I'm just using this. I'm just using this rather than messing or dirtying too. I'll just use the tip. So I'm actually pulling that through, making sure that it's touching the edge because I want it to touch the edge. That way it sort of anchors the resin to the side, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do that all the way around, and then I can go through and put a little bit more resin on. But yeah, if you're using a resin that's too thin, you're really going to struggle with doming because the resin's going to run down the sides. It's going to pull away, just not going to work. So use an art resin, a doming resin, a thick resin like a 1-to-1 like this. That's Resin Fast Cure, but like I said, you don't have to use the Fast Cure, you can just use the regular one. The regular one I've noticed you can buy just on Amazon Australia. If you're in Australia, you can buy the regular one. It also works beautifully for blooms. You just have to wait a little bit longer for it to thicken up, to get a little bit warmer. All right, that is looking really good. Just going to pop that down for a minute. I am going to put some more on now. Actually, I think it's going to take about 100 grams after all. Now, resin is self-leveling, so I'm just going to leave it. If you start picking at it, moving it around, when it dries, you may have some uneven sections, you may have some dimpling. Don't torch it. If you need to pop some bubbles, which I'm going to do, use your heat gun. The flame tends to make, and I don't know what the scientific word for it or the reason why it does it, but it does this like a honeycomb effect on some resins. I can't remember if this one does it, but I know I've got that on other one-to-one resins, so I'm not going to take the chance. I'm going to use this. Now, a lot of times it's sort of got dust around it, so I'm going to start it over here and just blow it around a bit so that it's not blowing dust straight onto my piece. Now, again, don't do this too much because you're going to thin the resin out, and the whole idea of a doming resin is you want it to be a thick resin. So by heating it, you're turning it into a thin resin, which means it may just run over the side, so just be careful. All right, I'm going to bring you down and show you what this looks like, and I can see a little tiny section that I've missed. See that there? That little spot there? Need to just put some more resin on that. Push it to the edge. See, I mustn't have pushed the resin to the edge there. Go around and make sure that everything is touching the sides. Excuse the reflections. I can't help it. Let's go around and check. Make sure that you've got resin everywhere. So you can see on the edge there, see how that's doming. See, it's sort of got a curve on the side there where the resin's clinging to the edge, and that's exactly what you want. So that's looking really pretty. And basically we're just going to leave it now. Oh, except for the handles. Forgot the handles. But yeah, try to refrain from picking at it. I have learnt the hard way from seeing, oh, there's a bit of dust or there's a hair or something. Obviously there's a hair in it, you have to get it out. But try not to start picking in it, because you will find that when it sets, you've got these little dimples. So yeah, it's best to just leave it. If there is a hair or something and you have to get it out, you can dig it out, and it's going to leave a hole. And then just with your resin, just sort of pop a little bit more on, just to sort of cover up that little dimple that you've just created. If you know what I mean. Pop a little bit more on. I like to put as much on as the resin can handle, or the base can handle, without it running over the edge, because I want a nice thick even layer. And again, make sure that your work surface is really level. You don't want it tilting and then all your resin running off. So I've pretty much used all of that. Alrighty, let's do this. Let's put these little balls in, and I'm just gonna pop it there, pop it there. Make sure they're about the same distance apart. I think that's about it. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Have a look at it on the side, make sure it's even. I think it is. It's a gorgeous tray, isn't it? Love this tray, love it. All right, so the next thing I need to do is I just need to clean up, and I need to cover this with my food net. Now, in case my food net has dust on it, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to give it a blow with my air duster outside, just to get any dust off it, because it's all well and good putting a food net over, but if your food net has got dust and bits of hair and things on it, as soon as you open it up, it's all going to fall into the piece. So just something else to be aware of. I think you are planing. I think you're moving. Oi, stop that. I saw you. I saw what you did. Maybe if I try and push it down. Push. But yeah, it's aquaplaning around the place. Put a little bit more there. All right, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. It's obviously going to want to move. And where I pushed it, I've made a hole for the in the resin. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. Obviously what you could do is, and I don't know if I can do it because I've got plastic here, but you could get a piece of tape and tape it. No, I can't do that because the tape's going to touch the edges. I'm just going to have to watch it for the next little while until it's sort of thickening up. Otherwise, put your handles in later on when it is thicker, and then just pop them in and hopefully they won't aquaplane away. Alright, that's me done. I'll see you when it's not time to unmold, but time to take it outside and have a look at the finished product. See you soon. Alright, so the top coat has cured, the handles are in there, it's looking amazing. It's really hard for me to show you though with all these lights around here. I think what we need to do is maybe go outside. It's just going to be really reflective, so it's hard to video, full stop, whether it's inside or outside, but I'll see what I can do. Let's go outside. Alright. Look at that gold. It's shimmering away there. I don't know if I can get into the shade. Nope, that's not going to work. Come back out. Come back out into the sunshine. Right, there we go. Now hopefully the sunlight is doing it justice. It's really hard. I can't actually see into my screen very well. It's just black. You know when you're outside in the bright light and you can't see your screen, it's just black. But hopefully you guys can see. When you tilt it like that, you can see a lot of, oh there it is, you can see a lot of that gold. But then when you're looking at it in a different angle, the gold's not as visible. So anyway, there it is. Hope you've enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think of this one. Do you prefer the coasters that I did, as in colour wise? Do you like this one? Loving that gold edge. It's really pretty. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Have a go at this. And yes, I'm going to be doing some canvases soon, so keep your eye out for those coming up. Okay, take care guys. Bye for now.